Good afternoon, Rockford, Illinois. This is Jay Garcia, also known as the Ghost Preacher. I don't usually go public video unless I want to be careful on how I word and maybe how I sound. Sometimes you have to deal with too many sensitive people who can't take correction but love to dish out correction. And I say that to say this: I'm going to put my Bible to the side and religion aside, man to man, we're going to use a little common sense. I want to get straight to the point. I don't want this to be lengthy, and I want to address, should I? I don't know, but I'm just gonna, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the nonsense that continues to go on, specifically and directly to some members of North Love Baptist Church or Reformers Unanimous, because I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of the stupidity. Tired of the drama, tired of the gossip, tired of the control, tired of the hate, the bitterness, the anger. And some things need to be addressed. For this particular video, I'm going to leave it public because I want it to reach a few sources. And I'm not necessarily trying to anger anyone, but if anyone wants to get angry, so be it. I think this is probably why people may talk about me in a negative way, because they know I can see through their trash, and I don't deal with the stupidity. See, I've been a Christian for more than 20 years, and I've been involved in the ministry for many years. I've preached the Bible for about 17 years now, but I also have a life that it's a past that I'm still grateful for, because God has taught me a lot of things through it. I've gained a lot of street wisdom, if you may say that. I think it's necessary. And I can see through a lot of trash that many people might not see, because I grew up with some of the shadiest, nastiest, dirtiest, evil kind of people. And anyways, to make a long story short, I want to address the situation with my wife's cousin. I won't say any names for privacy reasons, who recently came up here to Reformers Unanimous, the ladies' home, as we recommended that she come up here. And of course, her family invested $7,500 to enter this program, which I believe is ridiculously overpriced, especially the half trash program they were running at the time. I can't say it was always like that, but if I can show you the character of those who were in leadership, definitely not worth it. And I don't think she got the help she needed. Anyways, to make a long story short, she graduated the program not that long ago, and she was made a bunch of empty promises, like many of us who've served around. And I'm not saying everybody in this ministry was bad or is bad, but I think there's a lot of people there who lack many character, who are just as carnal and wicked as the world, and put on this religious facade that just makes me sick. So I'm going to call it out like it is. So she was made a bunch of empty promises, and when she graduated the program, like many students, she was promised if she stayed here, she'll be well taken care of. and here's when I start to be specific, because I want to point out some things, and not just it's more of a construction criticism, because I want people to get it. And in this particular situation, Jason Bennett, and I'm not sure much of the involvement of his wife, but I want to be clear. She was my wife's cousin. After graduating, was promised an apartment and a job. Notice she's got 2 kids in Maryland. She wanted to move back here. Of course, she went back up to Maryland. I guess she was given an apartment by Jason Bennett, because she believed that these people wanted to help her. Now, when you help people, you of course, it's because you care about people. There shouldn't be no conditions behind it. In this particular situation, she went back up to Maryland. Her family helped her come back down here, bought her a bunch of furniture, came down here with her kids. She was living in an apartment currently that was, of course, promised to her by Jason Bennett, who also promised her some work. Now, she had rules. Of course, when you're in the program, of course, in the ministry under leadership, you have certain rules, which is very understandable, very respectable. Just like me, I got to go to a job every day, and I have a boss, and there's rules there. Outside of work, they can't tell me what to do or how to live my life. My personal life is none of their business, but they respect me. In this particular situation, of course, my wife's cousin moved out of the program into this apartment that was promised to her by Jason Bennett. And of course, her being a babe in Christ, she doesn't align with the religious nonsense that completely align with the religious nonsense some church folk try to shove down your throat in a little 6-month program. They expect you to be holier than thou, which obviously a lot of these folks are not. They just don't meet Christ's standard anyhow. Neither of us do, to be honest. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We all will continue to grow. We all don't grow at the same pace, but it is our job as Christians, as God's people, to demonstrate the love of Christ with no conditions. God loves me in spite of what I do. Whether I'm good one day, bad the next day, he still loves me just the same. He doesn't treat me any different. I believe that. I can't earn his love. I can't do any extra backflips for him to love me any more than he already does. To make this point. Now, I don't understand in great detail, but my wife's cousin, she's a grown woman. She has every right to choose what she wants to choose, whether she wants a boyfriend, whether or not she wants to kiss her boyfriend. That is not my business or anyone else's business, unless she is literally a staff member. I could understand some conditions may apply, but someone who has graduated the program, has left the program, and has no ties to any staff paycheck shouldn't be controlled and manipulated in order to get help. So I say that to say this. She wasn't doing what Jason Bennett or everybody else wanted to for. Look, she's not out there strung out on drugs. She's sober. She's attending church. What else do you want out of a person who graduates the program? Just because they don't dress like you dress, or maybe talk the way you talk, It is our job as we represent Christ to love sinners right where they are, regardless whether they come to church or not. And that's, I believe, the great test when people don't align with our standards or our morals. Or everyone's different, and everyone grows at a different rate. Some people don't grow at all. Some people get stuck. Some people backslide. It's life. Our job is to love people right where they are. So, make a long story short, since my cousin, my wife's cousin, wasn't abiding by Jason Bennett's and whoever else's rules, not to mention she's not in the program, she's in an apartment. Apparently she's supposed to be renting from him. Then she was basically cut off, and actually told she probably has about 5 days that she has to leave the property. Why? Ask me, why do we act or pretend to help people with conditions on it? Why do we have to, which takes me back to Jason Bennett. If you hear this, it was said of someone who was a graduate who was moving back to Rockford, who needed an apartment, and of course went to you. Apparently you have some resources with apartments, and it was said that you said that you will not rent to them unless they attend your weekly services at your church, North Love Baptist Church. That is probably the most dumbest, most stupid idea I've ever heard, that you would have to try to build a church. You can't rent to someone unless they go to you. That's so cultish, so disgusting. It kind of takes me back to the stinking conditions you put in on a poor woman you made move across state with her 2 kids and a family full of furniture, and her family, her children, and a whole house full of furniture, just for what? To tell her she has to go because she don't bow down to your rules? This is the control, and this is the arrogance, the self-righteous manipulation that continues to push people out of North Love Baptist Church and Reformers Unanimous. This is why that ministry is crumbling, because that control, the conditional love that has no room in Christianity. Just because someone doesn't want to go to your church has nothing to do, and that's in reference to the lady that wants to rent an apartment. Now I could be wrong, but I've been around a lot of these folks, including Jason Bennett, for many years, to see the hypocrisy in these folks, and the way they treat people, and the way they look at people, and the way their eyes roll, and the way they mistreat people because they don't jump through the loops. That control mentality, this conditional love mentality has got to go. I believe this is exactly why God is cursing the church, the ministry. A lot of people have left because of the lies, the gossip, the control, the drama. That is not love. Now, I will not, and I'm not gonna ever allow myself on a spiritual level, especially, mistreat someone because they don't dress the way I dress, or they don't talk the way I talk. Now, don't get me wrong, I got high standards. I don't always meet them, but I still have high standards, music, dress, but I'm not going to criticize and treat someone different, a layman's in particular, as a fundamentalist because they don't meet my standards of dress or music. Now, however, there are, especially within ministries, staff members or leaders who have, I believe, should have these standards, especially when it comes to representing Christ. Now, that gets under my skin, and I'm not afraid to call it out, especially the way some churches worship God. It just looks like something of a worldly concert. And the music just sounds like something that I'll turn on the radio. A staff member praising God on the platform, dressed like she came out of some ballet reggaeton concert. I'm just fed up. And I think, and if I can make it clear to you folks listening, that know exactly what I'm talking about, the hypocrisy and this disgusting conditional love you guys put on people. If you want to know how to build a church, you go out there and you love people. You know what's going to make people attracted to want to come to North Love? By actually loving people unconditionally. You can't force people to go to church. You buy a whole family. You could buy a family, and I've done it. You could buy a family groceries. You can buy some bus kid some shoes, but don't expect anything else in return. Don't expect their family to come to church because of it. Now, it's a good thing to do it. You might capture their heart, but there should be no conditions to why you love people. And this is the problem with this ministry, and some. I'm not saying all, some in leadership, there always has to be conditions to why you rent an apartment to somebody, or why you shouldn't. It's the cutoff switch, man. It's disgusting. And then when people don't want to bow down to your control, you cut them off, you criticize them, you gossip about them. You cast them. You do them worse than Muslims do, and I know that because I've experienced it myself. And this is why I had enough and I left. But Jason Bennett and everyone else involved who did not do nothing about it to help my wife. She came out here with her children and put her trust and confidence that you guys were going to help her and take care of her, help her get on her feet. You guys enrolled her children at North Love Christian School. She moved across state to be there, gave up $7,500 to be in this program, to be disowned and dismissed because she don't want to bow down to your self-righteous, arrogant rules. So what if the girl got a boyfriend? Love her anyhow. That's Christianity. Jesus hung out with sinners. He loved sinners. And he despised the Pharisees and the hypocrites. I'm going to tell you right now, this program, you guys are trying to, because it all completely fell apart. And you can thank the leadership of Paul Kingsbury. In fact, speaking of Paul Kingsbury, he's a coward. For him to jump ship and let this ministry just fall apart the way it is without any explanation, man, he's a sorry old soul. Now, I'm saying that to say this. Not everybody's stupid. And this is why it almost breaks my heart to see all the people, good people, who left that ministry within the last 5-6 months because of the garbage and the nonsense going on. It continues to go on. But you somehow, Jason Bennett and his wife want to start another ladies' home. I looked at your GoFundMe page to support, I think it was $6,000. There's only $500 on there. I don't expect it to get any bigger than that. I don't expect this ministry to go much further than you guys assume or think it's going to go. You somehow think if Kingsbury could not maintain and run the homes on his own with the support and the ministry, what makes you think, Jason Bennett and Jennifer Bennett, that this is going to succeed? Now, don't get me wrong. It can succeed. It can. And it could. And I would like it to. I'd like to see a couple more women get off the street and find Jesus. But I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to succeed. It's not going to succeed because of your pride, your control, your arrogance, your conditional love. And you can't force. And Jason Bennett, you need to step back from these women. You need to stay out of that home, in fact, and let your wife run the ministry. You're a little too close. There's too many complaints about you. I've recognized it years ago. I've seen you personally in the ministry, on wherever your position was, get too close to other women, inappropriately hug other women, and I can verify that. You're too touchy. You're too close to these other women, and being around that home or being near that home and trying to run this home, even telling some of those girls in that home that you're going to be like their daddy. You're a sick man. You're a sick man. Your wife needs to give you a checkup from the neck up, man. You need to stay away from those women. Those women, a lot of them are emotionally abused. It's not a good situation for you, man. You ought to have some little common sense. Step back completely and you financially run it, but stay away from those women, man. There's already 3 women that I know of who have complained. You demand too many hugs. In fact, when I was talking, before I met my wife, when I was talking to someone in the ministry, I remember you used to come into church service, sit real close to them, almost on top of them, put your arm around them and pull them into you. Where was your wife? You have no respect for your wife. You're a coward, man. And you're in a bad situation. And I notice you still continue to treat people like garbage. You're a fake. You need to get right with God. Your wife needs to check you up from the neck up, because you're putting yourself, you're too close to women, man. You're a pervert. You're a dirty, sick man. That's what everybody's saying, and I believe it. It shows in your actions, man. Anyways, I'm getting back at you, man, for your mouth, your pride. Somebody's going to have to expose you. I'm glad Tony Street has got some backbone there to expose some of the garbage going on in there in the ministry. And he's also mentioned it too. You're a coward, man. You're a coward, and too many people covered up for you. You're a baby, man. Man up. And I'm not saying that because I hate you. I hate no one, man. But I'm tired of your garbage. And what you guys are doing to my wife's cousin, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You make that woman move across country after paying $7,500 for this program, move across country, promise her, give her a bunch of empty promises, give her an apartment. Now you're throwing her out in the street, telling her she's got 5 days to go. Shame on you and your ministry. May God curse the rest of what you call ministry, man. Peace, Ghost Preacher.